What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome to more C4, and we are reacting to a very, very juicy piece of news as the Philadelphia Eagles send a fourth-round pick to the Chicago Bears to land second-team All-Pro last season pass rusher Robert Quinn. We'll just start with we'll just start with this. First of all, on Friday, I was working on an upload for the channel. Top 5 Eagles trade targets. I don't know if you can see who number 1 is on the list there. I had Robert Quinn. Now, I had them getting a 5th to get Robert Quinn. We gave a 4th. That's not an overpay. I was just maybe kind of underselling it a little bit. But Brian Burns is always my top target, especially once it kind of came out that the Panthers weren't necessarily full fire sale with Brian Burns. They wanted multiple first-round picks. And given the fact that if you traded for Brian Burns, you'd have to pay him. Once you start to kind of, it was much like Christian McCaffrey. It's just not Philly, and even throwing Kareem Hunt. We did talk about Kareem Hunt. I just don't think Philly at this point is going to be in the business of trading for a guy that's going to have to get more additional money. We did that with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. We have enough guys that are in one-year deals that we're going to have to figure out to pay. We don't want to add another name to that list. You'd like a little bit more long-term stability or a short-term player that's fine being a short-term player like a Robert Quinn. Because right now, again, you got Kaiser White, DJ Edwards, James Bradbury, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Jason Kelsey. Those guys they're in contract years. That's a lot of names to jumble and try to squeeze on their salary cap next year. And if you traded for Brian Burns, you traded for a Kareem Hunt, for an example. That's a popular name right now. You'd have to add another name to that list of guys that need more money. And, Robert Quinn just made it easier. Robert Quinn's going to come in as probably DN4. He had 18.5 sacks last season. He's going to be second unit pass rusher for the Philadelphia Eagles. Like the rich get richer. It's still going to be Josh Sweat and Hassan Riddick as our primary pass rusher. Second unit would be a combination of Brandon Graham and Robert Quinn. Essentially, if you want to just look at it from like a depth chart standpoint, we just took out Derek Barnett and put in Robert Quinn, which is outstanding business from the Philadelphia Eagles. But we'll start with this, man. I said earlier, and this is not a hot take. It wasn't big brain C4 football by me saying I wanted Philly to get Robert Quinn. Like half a dozen Philadelphia Eagle fan sites had Robert Quinn. Maybe not this top guy. A lot of people still were kind of hoping for Brian Burns. I saw some Jerry Hughes, who actually was on my list as well. But Robert Quinn was my top guy, particularly because he would remind me a lot of when we signed Chris Long. Now, Chris Long wasn't coming off 18.5 sacks when we signed him, but he was a good rotational pass rusher, but an excellent veteran presence to the locker room, and that is very important. Having a strong locker room is, I'm not going to say integral, you could probably do without, but it is massive for a young team like the Philadelphia Eagles if we want to not only remain consistent throughout this year and try to stack a lot of wins, and going on a deep playoff run, a strong locker room is incredibly valuable. Look at the year that we won the Super Bowl, right? Malcolm Jenkins. You had Chris Long. You had Jason Peters. You had, guys that, regardless of what they were as football players, those were guys that were immense within the locker room. Those were guys that were integrity. Anytime you see clips from the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, anytime you see locker room clips, those are the guys that other guys gravitate towards. And then here's an example. We're going to play this video here really quick. This is in a Bears interview asking Roquan Smith after the trade broke that he's going, what he thought of Robert Quinn. And Robert Quinn hasn't been there for a long time, right? This is a guy that, 3 years, hasn't been a lifer there.
Man, yeah, man. Sucks. Yeah, like, yeah. I'm going to take a second for a second, if you don't mind.
Kind of goes on like this. The fact that, we're a young team. The amount of impact that Robert Quinn had in the locker room over a young player like Roquan Smith. What's he going to do for, the Kobe Dean, Jordan Davis? What's he going to do for, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? What's he going to do for Edwards? What's he going to do for Kobe Dean? What's he going to do for Jalen Hurts? Help Jalen Hurts out? What's he going to, that kind of guy, especially more so on the defensive side of the ball. We got great leaders, especially on the offense has been great. Offense between Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson. Those guys, they know what it takes. They know what it takes to get it done. But on the defensive side, I'm not saying that we're lacking. You got Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox been there for a minute, Slay. But another old head, a veteran like that, like Robert Quinn, is going to be very, very impactful what he does off the field versus on top of what I expect him to do on the field. This was Robert Quinn last year, second team All-Pro 18 and a half sacks, 17 TFLs, 22 quarterback hits, 4 forced fumbles. Now this year, I watched like kind of like in the background that Bears Patriots game. I would love if there's a Bear fan watching, you can kind of explain like why there's been this like fall from grace for Robert Quinn. I don't know if it's a new staff. I don't know if he's, if you're watching this as a salty Bear fan, like, oh, he's washed. Thanks for the 4th round pick. Don't know. Can't really comment. What I can say is at 31, to put up this kind of year on a bad Chicago team where you're the guy. He's been the closest thing in 2021 that the Bears have had to replacing Khalil Mack. And he's going to be second unit pass rusher for Philadelphia. He's going to come off. He's going to be fresh. He's going to just, his snaps might get cut in half. That could be for the best, especially when you get up there and age a little bit in your career. Just saying, hey, give us a couple strong reps when Josh Sweat's tapping the helmet or when Hassan Riddick's tapping the helmet, they need a breather. Getting Robert Quinn out there for a drive or two every quarter. It's just, that's going to be huge for Philadelphia. It's big brain moves from the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think it's outstanding business. And the fact that on top of that, we're not on the hook for all of his contracts, something that's getting eaten by the Chicago Bears. These is the kind of moves you need to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Obviously, at 6-0, the last remaining undefeated team, we should be somewhat valid in having those aspirations. I think there's still massive hurdles for Jalen Hurts to overcome. For me to be like, yeah, man, I'm expecting the Super Bowl. But moves like adding Robert Quinn, moves like maybe some other moves we might make before the deadline, that is like a lot of... We're not anti-Howie Roseman anymore, right? I think he's built up enough credit that he's redeemed himself with this year. But he still has a blueprint of what worked last time we went to the Super Bowl. Howie Roseman has that blueprint, right? Rookie quarterback contract. Build your team around said contract. And you were still just looking at that checklist of everything that worked that Super Bowl year. And it was like, who's gonna be our Chris Long? Like we brought in Hassan Riddick. That's not really the veteran rotational locker room guy. That's a guy that we're hoping Hassan Riddick can continue to crush. And he's been playing very well, especially the last couple games. But it's like, all right, veteran pass rusher. That's something we need to add to the checklist, to our Super Bowl formula. Got it. Check mark. Next to Robert Quinn. So, outstanding move. I'm giving it an A+ for Philadelphia. Even if Robert Quinn, I'm not expecting Robert Quinn to come in and get 3 sacks a game and try to get back to that 18 sack pace. But even if he could just come in rotational pass rusher, 6-7 sacks, something like that, and what he brings as far as a locker room leader is concerned, that is good enough for me. And he's chasing a ring. He's been in the league a very long time. He's been on some god-awful teams. The Rams were shit show. Dolphins, Dallas, Chicago, just some of the who's who of garbage teams in the NFL. And at least for this year, he's going to be joining a good Philadelphia Eagle team in a weak NFC, which bodes well. So I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comment section below about this move. I would love to hear Bears fans in particular kind of maybe explain a little bit, elaborate what's going on with Robert Quinn this year. And I'm going to leave you guys with, is this the last piece of business you think Philly should be doing? Or should we be looking to strengthen the team? Again, look at that blueprint. We got Jay Ajayi. We got to trade for a running back still. I would have loved James Robinson, honestly, because that's a cheap running back. Got to remember, Jay Ajayi, cheap running back. I don't think that's Kareem Hunt. I don't think Kareem Hunt is in the trade finder as cheap running back. So, but maybe that could be something we look to strengthen the running back spot, especially because Miles Sanders has struggled staying healthy. And if Miles Sanders goes down right now, while we have Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell, Trey Sermon offers a little bit more of a power variety. I do think, I've seen David Montgomery as a potential trade target, which, again, I think that might be a little bit more on the expensive side. I don't think you're getting David Montgomery for a 5th-round pick. But I feel we could find a way to add more of a proven power back that could complement a room. That'd be dope. I think you can make an argument, maybe a tight end. You almost start viewing, if guys go down. That's why I don't think Philly's going to trade Andre Dillard, unless they get a ridiculous offer, which it would make sense. Mailata has a shoulder injury. Shoulder injuries can re-aggravate. At this point, I think Andre Dillard just kind of running out his rookie contract here as depth in case Mailata goes down. That's more valuable for Philadelphia than getting, a third, getting our 4th-round pick back for Robert Quinn. But, just kind of viewing the roster from a standpoint of, where do we lack depth? If a starter went down, where would we be terrified? And as much as, we're not going to say anything about, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, we got Quez Watkins, right? Quez Watkins can get more reps. I think Quez Watkins can get on the field. But tight end, if something happens to Dally, You can make an argument. If we can get like a veteran tight end could come in, that could be valuable for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think you look at DB, just in general, defensive backs. Slay's been out. McPherson kind of stepped up a little bit. But if we can get a veteran corner in this room, that could help. Bringing a guy on the outside that's playing on the outside. Safety, third safety. Upgrade over Kevon Wallace potentially. There's definitely some opportunities there for Philadelphia to continue to be aggressive ahead of the trade deadline. I would love to hear what kind of trades you guys are thinking that we could still make, as well as what you think about this Robert Quinn edition. I am very happy with it. But that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you back again on the weekend talking about the matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So until then, it's your boy C4 saying, first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you're hyped that Robbie Quinn is a new member of the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.